court.
No, I ain't bringing the little chicken nugget. No. We back here on Couch Coach Live. Forgot to drop today. I don't know what's going on with me today, but it is what it is. Welcome to the 2-hour ride. It is Couch Coach Live. I'm joined by my co-host LA. What's going on, LA?
What's going on, brother?
Special guest.
Jamie.
All right, Jamie. What's going on, man?
Not much.
Hey, man, we got a great show lined up for you guys. We're going to get you ready for Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Do a little this, that, and the third. So we got to start off with a little Game 3 recap. We got the Cavs winning at 96-91 to have a 2-1 series lead on the Golden State Warriors.
You can tell by my expression, you know I'm not happy.
But you picked Cleveland, though, right? We
I said it was kind of more of a head over heart thing.
Yeah. And
it's just, I think the biggest problem that I noticed,
yeah.
especially with this series, is like when the referees want to pick and choose when they want to let them play. That's the biggest issue that I have. It's like, game 1, this is a foul. Game 3, this is not a foul. It's just back and forth. It's just too much. Like, that's why I think, honestly, the NBA Finals needs to be like a neutral site location. You do it for every other sport, college basketball, college football, Super Bowl. They're all neutral sites. So
it's 7 games, though.
Hey, what does that mean?
I mean, what you think about that? Neutral.
I don't think so. I don't think it would work. Like, Super Bowl's different, but in baseball, hockey, basketball, they do a best 4 out of 7. I can't see them doing 7 games on a neutral site. So
that would be funny.
I think the biggest issue is that I think that they should have the same referees for all of the games. They have different referees, and different referees call different things. So I think that they should just stick with like maybe one group of guys for like the NBA Finals. Like the top officials that were graded out for the whole year in the playoffs, they should get the NBA Finals. So you'll be used to like them calling certain stuff.
So that way you don't see different calls from game to game. I agree with that. But something has to change because it's just too much.
Yeah, I agree. And that's, one of those things it's funny. You would have 7 games somewhere, at another place, which I don't know, you would, in your case, you would alternate as far as like having a different city.
Because you look at it, you eliminate the travel, so you don't have to worry about going East Coast, West Coast, back and forth. You have it in one central location.
So have it like in San Antonio and then have it in Dallas or
something like that. Go to Reliance Stadium, go to Jerry's World one day.
Oh my gosh, that would be...
So just pick one state. There's multiple arenas where you can do it at.
Texas,
it's summer, so you can also play outside. Because they experiment with that every
I
summer.
like that, and I like it because I like, especially when colleges do that, when they play on the cruise ship. Yeah. That's kind of dope. I like that. And maybe you got, maybe a good idea.
Get Adam Silver on the line.
And you know what? Now I'm thinking about that would be a nice little outside location to have, playing basketball.
Yeah, and then also look at it like you fill up a football arena. So you got like especially a college stadium or something like that where you can fill up 100,000 people. That's more money in the NBA's pocket.
Yeah, you know how they want. They want the money.
And the owners split it 50-50. That would be actually a good idea. Also, I think another thing is that you could eliminate some of like the funky things that go on with the schedule. I think it's ridiculous that game 2 is overtime. Cleveland has to travel cross country, and then they have to play 2 days later. Whereas if you had it in a neutral site, you could play every other day, and the series will be over with like 12 days.
Yeah,
11, 12 days.
I understand they want to drag it out just for like
dramatics.
Dramatics.
Yeah.
But I think it's a bit ridiculous that you travel that long away. You just get 1 day off. I think when you travel, especially for the finals, you should get 2 full days off. Whatever you should play on the 3rd day.
Because what they try to do is try to make sure that they have a game on Sunday. That's the most popular thing because Saturdays you
ain't gonna really do nothing because everybody's gonna be so busy doing stuff, especially in the summertime.
Yeah, and then you got everything else that can happen, a fight night or something like that.
Something fight can happen, or just
When was the last time they had an NBA Finals game on a Saturday? It's been like a while. Probably. I'm thinking.
I don't even
maybe
remember.
Middle school, elementary school, something like that. Yeah, I think back when Orlando played Houston, they had a game on a Saturday. I believe they did. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. It's been a while because that's how I don't remember. I always remember Sundays. Sundays always NBA.
NBC.
You want
mailman don't deliver on Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. But and that's one thing, my thing with that situation. I mean, I can see that working. I can kind of see that working. I mean, to an extent, but we got to,
because you the main reason and fun because you always hear like, well, they was in this arena, so they got these calls, and vice versa. Like you said, with have the same referee crew, something so that there isn't a change between each game.
Yeah.
Yeah, because different referees call different things. Like some referees like to let them play. Some referees are loose with the whistle. So yeah. No, it's been a little frustrating. I also think that they're allowing Cleveland to impose their will because Cleveland is clearly the more physical team of the bunch than Golden State is or whatever. So
yeah. But we'll definitely dive into that topic in the later portion of the show where we'll talk about our do a game for a preview, sort unquote. They actually had some championship game in the United Center. And it wasn't the Chicago Bulls, unfortunately, but the Chicago Blackhawks. Yep, defeated Tampa Bay Lightning 2-1 on the shoulders of Brandon. Is it Saad? Saad. Yeah, because I know it ain't sad, but it's like with 2 A's. This one,
double A.
Yeah, double A. Yeah. And that series is tied 2-2, and like the game. And actually, they have a game 5 on a Saturday.
Yeah. But that's hockey, so where the Raiders at in hockey.
Yeah.
Huh?
I didn't even know hockey. I mean, it's hockey still playing, but
It's still around. Yeah, it's still in the in the sports landscape. But as far as just as far as its popularity, of course, the NBA Finals will trump it. But I mean, it's still, and that's one thing with hockey. It's entertaining.
Yeah.
It's always especially when they go into sudden death. It's like it's do or die.
Yeah. But see, that's where this neutral site thing comes in. That's what happens if the Stanley Cup Finals and the NBA Finals in the same building. What are you gonna do? We can't have that fiasco we had like a couple years ago where everything was at the Staples Center.
Staples Center, yeah. Because it was about the ice was melting and stuff like that. Yeah, I remember that. And then, because then they have a marathon too. They had a marathon because I remember they was telling people that's what messed them up because they were letting people go into the Staples Center early so they could beat the traffic for the race.
Yep.
I remember that. That was crazy. Cause I remember because I forgot how they ended up being resolved, but I do remember
they pushed somebody's game back.
Yeah, but now as long as Kobe Bryant wasn't involved, Kobe Bryant would have had an issue with that. Also, Brandon Spikes got released, and it was
I got one word: idiot.
Cosign. Yeah, as we all know, Brandon Spikes. Actually, last year he played for the Bills. He signed with the Patriots on May 18th, which is crazy, and was released Monday due to a police investigation with an abandoned car belonging to Spikes, which may have been involved in a hit and run accident. So the moment, because it was so funny, when I heard about it Monday, I was like, okay, he got released. I'm like, didn't they just sign him?
Yeah.
Then I seen what happened. I was like, that's what happened. Robert Kraft got burned by another Florida guy.
Yeah. And the thing about it, with athletes and motor vehicle accidents, it's dumb because first of all, they know it's your car. So why leave the same?
What was it? A Mercedes?
Yeah, it's like a high price vehicle. That's like I don't remember if you remember a couple of years ago, Lonnie Baxter.
Yeah, LB.
Wrecked his Range Rover a block away from Pennsylvania, a block away from the White House. Like they're not gonna know that's your car.
Exactly. as if you're just a regular guys in DC just wear that and try that.
Had he been drinking?
Spikes.
Had he been drinking?
They haven't said that. Yeah. I mean, they don't really know per se.
Whatever team picks him up, just know he's gonna be suspended back in there for at least about 8 games. So
yeah, pretty much. And and that's. Just because the only really reason why they found out was OnStar.
Yeah.
That was funny. Like, how in the world is this OnStar, be, responsible for this? Because, they were the ones, they reported. So this is like, it's crazy. And then he just, I don't know what these guys are thinking. Because even with that, it's like, okay, I mean, you hit somebody. I mean, you might as well. I'm telling you, it's gonna be worse now.
Yeah, because
if you leave the scene.
If you leave the scene.
Yeah, because at least if somebody shows you rich, you can kind of talk your way out of an accident. You know, here's a couple autographs, here's some tickets, some field passes.
Exactly. I'm like, okay.
We don't need to involve the insurance.
I'll be driving with that dent in my car for a while. Dude.
Let's switch cars. You know,
exactly.
Let's do something.
I'm like, man, can I meet Tom Brady? The deflator. Can I meet the deflator?
That's probably.
I'll give you a couple of deflated balls from the championship game.
Tom Brady probably took out his tires. That's what caused him to crash.
Pretty much.
It was the ball boy.
It was what they call the boy, the deflator.
Yeah.
It's because he's big. Like what? Who says that? Like I don't know, man, but it's a trope. We had some major scandals going on in college in the world of college athletics.
We had this conversation earlier in the week. You know how I feel about one of these.
Yeah. When especially for University of North Carolina, they had academic scandal that you like. They need the SMU death penalty,
Give them the
which
death penalty.
not gonna happen.
They need to taught a lesson.
No, that's not gonna happen. But also in Texas, they have actually academic misconduct actually during the Rick Barnes era. So shocker, he's gonna
But the thing about it is, he's nowhere to be found. I mean, he's in Tennessee, so
he
won't catch any of the aftermath.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing about it. It's just so funny how
I mean, that's all in college. They do that every time.
Exactly.
When a college coach gets in trouble, they leave.
Flee.
They know when to
they
leave.
flee. They flee.
What?
Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
Hey. Chip Kelly.
I'm a Chip Kelly guy.
You do. Because when I text you about that shit, it's like, that was like fight words. He was like, man, he's a good coach. But yeah, we need to talk about that too. Your man's got released.
Hey.
That was a shock because
it wasn't a shocker because Chip Kelly's trying to build a culture. If you don't buy into the whole football thing, you got one guy sitting out for a contract dispute, and it's a contract dispute. You got 99% of the team is there at a voluntary workout. You got one guy missing. Yeah. He sticks out, and they offered him more money a couple years ago. He wanted to play hardball, and he wanted more money. 34 years old, coming off a semi-serious injury to his MCL. You weren't getting a pay raise. I mean, I appreciate all the work he did, and he's a Roll Tide alumni, but he wasn't getting any more money. He just $6.5 million for a 34-year-old journeyman guard. Like, you don't get any better than that. Just stay quiet. And I think in football or any sport, I think contract negotiations should be held in-house. Do not release that to the media because then that adds more fuel to the fires. It gives the media something else to talk about. So then it brings a negative energy to the team. And that's ultimately why he got cut. They're trying to build forward and build a program and then you got this one guy, all right, well, I want more money. I'm going to sit out for this contract. And then, so what happens when he gets this contract? So now that becomes a norm for, all right, you want more money, sit out.
Man, that man got to feed his kids, man.
Hey, look, I know how to feed my family on a $50,000 salary.
Okay.
$6.5 million, hey.
Yeah. But, hey, I'm almost like, hey, come down 95. We got a spot for you.
No. Look, you're not gonna. You can have all of our rejects. That's fine. Take our rejects.
Yeah, but you know what's so funny? Just imagine if Deshaun Jackson didn't come to y'all minicamp because he went to the Eastern Conference Finals, or he'd have got released anyway. Also, I had a personal man to take care of. Wanted to be in the locker room with LeBron James. But that's here nor there. So that is that's your boy. So what we do, we take a quick time out. When we come back, we're going to do our starting five. A topic that you want to discuss, especially, with the San Francisco 49ers about this, the culture and other things that we'll be talking about during our starting five. We'll talk about the Triple Crown winner. And also, this will be a new change in the NBA in 2 years from now. So we'll be back here on Couch Coach Live. We'll be right back. Oops. Yeah.
That was friendly. That was listener friendly.
Yeah, really, I didn't know that was. I forgot about that part. But anyway, but yeah.
But that Evan Matthews, like nobody's gonna give you a raise. This
Nobody's yeah.
Just don't worry about it. It's not gonna happen.
We can get this right. We can get a little something. I'm not going to old pen.
They didn't get 34, so that means you have to go to a team that's a contender. You're gonna take the league minimum.
Our production staff. So first off, question number one, is the 49ers culture responsible for retirements of their young stars? We're looking at like Chris Borland, Patrick Willis retired, Anthony, yeah. Who else?
Justice Smith retired, but he's not.
Yeah,
but he was like 30, he was 35, so he's not there.
Eric Reed contemplated.
Eric Reed. So who's the one that's in the army now? I forgot. Remember somebody's in the army now. I forgot which one is the one that's in the army.
They had a total of 5 players who left.
Yeah. And Jim Tusola.
Yeah.
Who's, you know.
I think a lot of that probably has something to do with Harbaugh leaving. Like, you know, Harbaugh was a college coach, so he could catch some of the younger players' attention because they were still moldable. That's a word you want to use.
Coachable.
Yeah, coachable. And you know, he can fit them in how he wanted them to be. And then you know, once you get a new coaching staff, you know, even though he was already there, he's not like, now I'm the big guy on campus. Now you're gonna do what I say. And you know, some of them probably got drafted, and football wasn't their first thing that they wanted to do. You know, so. In a sense, it probably has something to do with that because, you know, the owner, ever since DeBartolo left, it's just been about money, not winning football games. It's all about money and profitability. So
can't win with them, can't play with them.
I actually have an interesting. I think that yes and no. I think a lot of it. I agree with what he said, but I also think it has a lot to do with Harbaugh himself. Harbaugh is a very intense guy, and I think he pushed his players or whatever. And I think that under Harbaugh, some of these guys were playing hurt. And, you know, I think that in today's NFL, concussions are a very big issue or whatever. And I think players are starting to get smarter. They get a couple of concussions, they don't want to play anymore. They don't want to be, you know, have Alzheimer's when you're 50 years old and stuff like that. But I agree with you. I think a lot of the players did leave once, like, Harbaugh, they decided to retire once Harbaugh left. I mean, like, they're going to be a very bad football team this year, probably. Like, you know, they lost a lot, and I mean, damn, they traded their punter the other day to Cleveland.
And you trade your punter for a 7th round pick.
Exactly. You should just got Johnny Manziel.
And I mean, Andy Lee was a good punter.
He was an all-pro punter.
So, Patrick Willis retiring really shocked me. I was shocked. I've been shocked by the amount of just not even 49ers, but young players that retired this offseason. And even last offseason, I mean, you have Rashard Mendenhall who retired, Jake Locker retired. You've had a lot of young guys who are like mid-20s who have retired the last, you know, 2 years.
And then also like with like Mendenhall, I think he was.
I don't think football was his first love. He said he had other stuff he wanted to do.
And so you know he saw himself being phased out once he left Pittsburgh. You know, it kind of looked like football wasn't the main direction. He was nursing injuries longer than he should have been. Like I said, he could have came back a couple of weeks prior to it, and he, you know, just stayed out. So, like some of these guys, I think they just play football. I mean, they get those signing bonuses when it's the guaranteed money, and that's all they want to do. Like they don't want to do it anymore, anything else. I mean, you can't really live off of that signing bonus. I mean, that's more money than you ever have in your whole life.
If you're smart with your money, you most certainly can. I mean, like a first round pick, you get like a $5 or $6 million signing bonus. That's more money than I'm ever going to see in my life. So
exactly. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna touch that type of money either. I hope.
I mean, if I keep playing this lotto, I got.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Play these numbers. Be a riverboat gambler. But and I mean, to me, like I said, you know, it's one of those things where I think you think like people are getting smart, and I think that people are really realizing that, you know, NFL is really not for long in the grand scheme of things, and you know, you might as well go out while you're healthy and into a point where, you know, these guys really look at the long term versus the short term.
And then also you got to look at like things that some of the players do it. Like, could it be health reasons in the game, or is it health reasons outside of the game? Because, you know, as a football player, if you make a mistake, you get death threats sent to you. Like, remember, Matt Schaub got several death threats sent to his house, to his front door of his house. So he had no choice but to leave Houston. So, I mean, all that comes into play. Like, Chris Boylan, he had some big shoes to fill once Navarro Bowman went out. So, then with Patrick Willis going out, you're not sure how Bowman's going to play next year. Like, that's a lot of pressure on Chris Boylan.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. And then I remember we were talking, I don't remember about Cal Williams. Remember when he dropped those punts in the championship game? Remember dropping those. And we were saying how it's just, you know, it's a shame, you know, that he's getting all these threats, you know, and you know, it's just crazy. Like, you know, it's really not that serious, and then, you know, that definitely takes a toll on you, because it's just like, you know what, I'm not, you know.
You're afraid to go to the supermarket or something like that. Well,
somebody gonna say something to you, or, you know, or you feel, you know, anything. Just like we were talking about with Johnny Manziel last week, you know, as far as him, you know, he's trying to make a conscious effort to better himself, and everybody's making a mockery of him.
Yeah, and I do think as a player, it is your responsibility to know when to step away from the game. So if you're like Brett Favre, you know, if he could took couple more hits, you know, that's his own fault. He should have stepped away from the game a long time ago.
Yeah, so he would have had to have Tommy Copper on his head.
Yeah, so
I also think it's very powerful for, as like athletes, they have the power just to walk away when you want to. And I think that as an athlete or as anything, you need to walk away on your own terms with her. I think it's very bad for you to play for a long time, then you can't play anymore, can't get a job or whatever. So I mean, I think some of these younger players are just walking away when they can, when they have the power. So
yeah, because like Drew Brees says he's going to play till he's 45, which I highly doubt.
It's not going to happen now.
I mean, he started playing bad last year. I mean, I think that he's starting to regress because of injuries. Like he might have a couple of more years left.
I mean, and also you got to look at the way he plays. Like he can't throw the ball 50 times a game and expect to walk away healthy. Like. The older your quarterback gets, the more you need to lean on that running back.
Yeah,
They don't have a running back for him to lean on. So, I mean, you have to take that into consideration. If you have a young quarterback, you want to lean on the run. Same with an older quarterback.
Exactly.
Lean on the run.
Because he ain't messing around getting Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, so, like, you know.
But, yeah, I mean, I definitely agree on that. Question number 2. On a scale from 1 to 10, how excited are you that Nike will be the official apparel of the National Basketball Association, and that's going to start in the 2017-2018 NBA season?
That's a 10. You knew it was going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
You knew it was going to happen. So Nike owns football and basketball. And majority of college. So
it's time to invest in Nike stock now. It's only $102 a share.
Hey,
now
I'll give me 2 shares. I can cover 2.
And and then you can always build on those shares.
Yeah, so I mean.
Sure.
You just knew it was bound to happen. Nike had basketball a couple
years ago. Nike had basketball a couple years ago, Because remember they used to have the Swingman jerseys.
So,
oh man, those were sweet.
Yeah.
I remember when they
$80 a piece.
Yeah, and I remember when they switched over to they went from Nike to Reebok but literally when they switched over from Nike to Reebok. I remember they had like a sale, because I don't know if you remember April Sports.
Yeah.
They had a sale, like I was getting like Swingman jerseys for like $40-something, $30-something. Like, it's crazy.
I mean, Nike itself, it just goes to show how big the brand is.
Yeah.
I mean, because a few years ago, I think they were talking about making Jordan the official brand of basketball. So power move by Nike.
Power move, and they're like, look, we can, if you don't, let's do that. And then even with that, they're gonna have partnerships with, of course, the D League. They're definitely gonna be intricate in the branding of the NBA All-Star Game, the global games, and of course USA Basketball, and of course they still do they still under contract with the WNBA.
Yeah, so I mean, you just gotta look at everything else that's gonna go in effect with this whole Nike thing. It's like the performance gear, then you got the elite socks. That's gonna double the price of those, man, because they're gonna be worn so much more.
Yeah, and and just imagine now it's just like, and now you have your best player.
Yeah.
Best players pretty much are endorsing the brand. It's just like, wow,
Yeah, Kevin Durant, Kobe.
And they
Stop. You know I'm not gonna do it.
Stop. We're gonna. You know what? You see, you asked for it. Since you don't want, you being a little, coy about this individual, and I gotta break it down for you. But and that's one thing, and it was funny because I remember we were talking a few months back about how Under Armour, is starting to. We were thinking how they were kind of going to become the next in line as far as apparel company, which is still a opportunity, but this is definitely a shout out to LA. So who else got a Nike deal?
Kobe, Durant.
Since you just said Kobe and Kevin Durant, but I mean, and also that's just, and who knows, there could be a courtship with other players too. And I think that's gonna help
because it's Nike being the face of it.
Yeah,
it's more brand opportunities. Then you also have to look at like how Adidas is gonna play with this because they got Derrick Rose for how many more years? At least 7 more years?
I think so, yeah.
Wouldn't Nike buy him out of that contract and make him a face? You still got John Wall. Well, John Wall's already switched he went from Reebok to Adidas.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, then I mean, actually, it might save their NBA lives. I mean, Adidas is now it's like
it's phasing out.
It's phasing out, and you're hurting people. Think about LeBron. Think about RG3. Like think about Derrick Rose.
Let's keep him in Adidas though.
No. Let's get him Nikes. Let's get him some Nikes. Let's get him in the most. Let's get him in the James Andrews brand of shoes. Cover him in the blood of James Andrews. But I definitely, this is gonna lure. And now even when you think about a guy like a Steph Curry, who is now with Under Armour, and you're like, we might have to steal you away, man.
Yeah, and you gotta look at the other like Li Ning, and there's another Asian brand.
Yeah, but that's one thing about it is like you just know, that's one thing. It's going to be a very, very integral. They're going to be very integral in the marketing of, players, present and future, especially in 2 years. Who knows what star is going to emerge in 2 years?
Yeah.
You might have a Nerlens Noel shoe for you, LA.
I told you, man, I'm still in the contract debate if I'm gonna go with the Knicks or the Sixers. So
Well, I don't know. I think that what's so crazy. I think what they're gonna do in the offseason, I think it's gonna help them in the sense. I'm not saying that you're gonna be 65 and 67 and 15 or nothing like that. But I'm saying I think it's gonna be some good moves. It's a lot of nice little crop. People are saying like a lot like Greg Monroe might come. You team up with. I think you should get Emmanuel Mudiay, and we'll do that. We'll do a mock draft in the coming weeks.
Okay.
Probably do it either next week or the following week.
That's what the draft is in 2 weeks.
The 25th, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. 2 weeks from today.
Wow.
Crazy. I don't know why.
Yep.
So I think y'all should you team up. Got Mudiay, get Carmelo, get a guy. Get some bigs.
And so either one of the two teams, like I said, the Knicks or the Sixers.
Yeah.
Whoever gets D'Angelo Russell, that's probably where I might swing my allegiance with.
Yeah, and Reggie Miller's really high on him.
Yeah,
he's like
just watching him. I think he reminds me of the way Dwayne Wade was when he came out of college.
Okay.
Just a little bit better jump shooter. They compared him to Evan Turner while Evan Turner was at Ohio State. But I think he's a better offensive minded than Evan Turner was.
I think he has a much higher ceiling than Evan Turner does also. So, I actually think the Lakers should probably make a run to try to get him too, but I don't think that they are. So
because they so focused on Okafor at this stage, which is just I mean, and you're saying and that in the sense that makes sense due to the fact because Kobe's not going to be there after next season.
Yeah.
As he said, hopefully he'll spread his wings and come to Chicago.
Nah, man. Reunite him with Phil.
Oh, reunite him with Phil in New York?
Yeah.
Oh, he should go home to Philadelphia. He should go home to Philadelphia. That would be something.
Like I said, I still got
he
time.
come back.
This is a major decision I have to make for me and my family. I can't just, pack up and move. So, I mean, I still have to contemplate this thing.
You know what? Just imagine. Just imagine him coming back to Philly and for like maybe a season or two wearing his daddy's jersey number 23. God, look at Joe Jellybean. He probably Man.
We'll work something out. I'll get on the phone, have me, Chip Kelly.
And Allen Iverson to be there.
Yeah, Boomer McNabb, man. Get some alumni in there.
Yeah, y'all can. So we might have to start a revolution for you.
Yeah,
we're gonna have
and then,
Kobe to Philly.
And then we'll have a decision episode, especially for me.
Yeah, we definitely have one. He'd be like, I'd be like Jim Gray. Hey, so Kobe, how was your summer? I was like, what? I don't care about the summer. Is he coming to Chicago?
Yeah.
He's talking about somebody who was like straight disappointed. Man, I tell you, that corner of LeBron James, man, that just had me nervous. It almost had me like that feeling of trying to figure out if a girl like you or not. I'm dead serious. Like I stalked it because I remember, and I know we told it, but we got time. But anyway, I remember because he set up 6 meetings because I think it was between he had Cleveland, he had Miami, the LA Clippers, the Brooklyn Nets, and New York Knicks. I think he set it up. And I remember how everybody was coming, like certain people was coming in the meetings and they was coming to his office in Akron. And I remember we was like the last stop on that Saturday. Yeah. And I see him pull out his office and I'm like, I wonder how it go.
Yeah, because I remember the Knicks offered him 20% at the gate if he would have came to
Yeah.
New York.
And I was really, you know, it's so funny. It's like it's almost been like the courtship of a woman, to be honest with you, because it's so funny. Because I was like one of our boys, he was like, "Yeah, you know, LeBron had dinner with Allen Houston last night." I was like, "Man, don't tell me that." He had dinner with Allen Houston. He's going to the Knicks. Like,
yeah, free agency is.
It's
courtship.
like that,
It's
man.
courtship.
I'm telling you,
You're
it was high
trying to show
drama.
him a good time.
And I figured then it was like I remember I knew they lost him Cleveland because Byron Scott they had like a little Family Guy episode for him and I'm like, man, he ain't for that crap.
I knew LeBron was leaving Cleveland when they had the LeBron James Day at the Akron Stadium, and he wore sunglasses the whole event. I mean, he couldn't look anybody in the eye to tell him he was going to stay. So
yeah, exactly. And I remember he had a camp that week at Xavier, and I'm like, that would be the perfect time to say, well, I'm resigning. I'm like, he's not coming back.
Yeah.
It's like he's coming to Chicago. I used to say that, and everybody's like, yo, you're crazy. And I'm like, up until Stephen A. Smith and Chris Broussard. Once Chris Broussard know what's going on, Chris Broussard knows. It's between him and Brian Windhorst. They know everything about.
I think Chris Broussard like lives in like LeBron James's house. Like he
I
lives
think
in
so.
the basement.
He do. Cause LeBron, he know everything about him. Him and Brian Windhorst. Brian Windhorst is like, I know more than him. Than he know more about LeBron James than his mama do.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm not. It's like he's like Gloria's not in Salt Lake City in Utah. She's not in January on a 6-game road trip and on the last week of the road trip. Gloria's not there, but I'm there. I'm like, yo, what is wrong with him, man? Like, yo, but anyway. Definitely. We gotta go to question number 3 now. In the recent events at Fenway, and it's just in baseball in general. In some cases, like in this case, let me set it up. We had a young lady who suffered what was initially a life-threatening injury as she was hit in the head by a broken bat during a game between the Red Sox and the Athletics. My thing is this: the question is, should there be like netting, like pretty much around the circumference of it?
Yeah, this is what gets tricky about it because people go to the baseball games, they want to catch foul balls, whatever. If you do that, then they're not going to be able to catch foul balls, whatever. True. And I think that for safety issues, maybe they can do a little more netting or whatever. But like when bats break or when bats slip out of hands, it's a hazard, and you have to like focus on the game. It's unfortunate what happened, but I think that if you put the netting around, people are not really going to like it. You're not going to be able to catch foul. Because that's like one of the main reasons why people go, they bring a glove, they're like, oh, I hope we get a foul ball. So,
lucky to get the ball,
I mean, it's unfortunate what happened, but it doesn't happen often. That's the thing. It's not like it's if it was happening like, 5-6 times a year, then like I definitely think they would do it, but like it's a rarity for something like this to happen.
Yeah, so. I mean, I think, I would say if you do extend the netting, just make it so that it's like not so high. Because just they say that you're doing something to prevent it, but you're not doing anything to prevent it. Because, just play with your mind a little bit. Because, like you said, that's why you go to baseball games, to catch the foul ball. So.
Yeah. And for me, like you said, and it's almost like the equivalent of you almost pretty much getting struck by lightning.
Yeah. And
like, the chances of you getting hit by a broken bat is so, like, it doesn't happen that often.
Yeah. Just like, look at NASCAR. They put nets up around the high side of the track.
Yeah.
And what is the net going to do? That's a car in the air.
True.
So.
Yeah.
Well, with the NASCAR thing though, I think it was more so like when they had the wreckage, like the pieces would like just fly all over or whatever. But like
yeah.
But if you get hit with something like that, you're in a boatload of trouble.
Oh, and NASCAR.
How is she? Is she still in the hospital? Like what's going on?
I think she's still in the hospital. They
life-threatening injuries
well,
are like
she's,
no more.
She's better. They said she's gonna have like a long road to recovery.
And then you know what's gonna happen? Mm-hmm. She's gonna sue the Red Sox.
Perhaps,
But
I just just if you want something, just get Kurt Schilling's Bloody Salt. Yeah.
Or take that GoFundMe from Tom Brady.
Oh my God! I know, right? Exactly. In the same community.
Yeah.
This is what y'all. But she do have a GoFundMe account.
Yeah.
She do have one. But it's exactly now that's somebody who really needed. Where in her case, she was an innocent bystander. She just wanted to have a nice day at Fenway Park. Probably had some chowder.
Yeah.
And just, you know what I'm saying? Like, that should have that, it ain't right, though. But yeah, and exactly, they want to have a GoFundMe for Tom. Oh, we want to free Tom. He's giving us clam chowder and a championship.
4 championships.
Go Sox!
I guess that's a good Boston accent.
I don't know. But I know one thing with the Celtics, we wicked smart. We got. I'm terrible.
What's next on the question?
Yeah. Question number 4. We actually had history in the world of sports. This monumental event. The last time this monumental event happened was in 1978. We had American Pharoah who won the Belmont Stakes to capture the Triple Crown. First time since 1978. Where were you guys at during this momentous occasion?
Well, get a haircut.
Well, I was, because it came on, like, I was in South Korea when it happened, so it was like 7 o'clock in the morning. I was in my apartment, like, sleeping when it happened. I woke up, first thing I did when I woke up, I went to YouTube and put the race on to see what happened or whatever. But I was sleeping. It came on too early in the morning, so I think you were probably somewhere, I think, with Chance.
Yeah.
Getting a haircut.
Getting a haircut. Straight.
But I had a feeling that he was going to win the Triple Crown. And when I found out that, like, his great-grandfather, like, it's kind of funny talking about like he's a human, but his great-great-grandfather was Secretariat, so it was written.
Yeah,
it was destiny.
His great-grandfather. Yeah, I was, like you were saying, up in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, living the life, down on Franklin Street. Down on Franklin Street.
Were you like doing extra credit for your African American studies?
Pretty much, yeah. I had to talk to my teacher's assistant.
Yeah, you were taking tests for some other student.
Yeah. Oh man, look.
Did you see Roy? Did you see Roy Williams? Was he crying?
No, he wasn't crying. Man, y'all know I had to do Marcus Page 5-letter essay before the tournament, man. You know he was gonna be academically ineligible. Yeah. You know I had to do that, man. Project on the Underground Railroad.
What's the kid, Justin Johnson?
Oh yeah.
You probably have to do something for him. He doesn't seem like he's that.
You probably should take a test for Rashad McCants, aren't
Actually,
and Joseph Forte.
I was ghostwriting for Sean May. Okay. You know, that's how he got into school. And Raymond Felton, you know, I was taking academic charges for him.
Two pistol Raymond Felton.
Yeah, 2 pistols. With the Plaxico Burris. Yeah. Without shooting himself.
Yeah, we're missing a Giants fan. If we had a Giants fan, we would have like the whole NFC East family pot here because I'm a Cowboys fan. Cowboys, Eagles,
Redskins all day, every day. You know.
Bird game.
Archie Need.
Oh, stop it! Yo, you seen that that viral video about the dude with the little green hair and stuff, with the green nails? He got an Eagles hat.
Oh yeah, that was a source of jokes in the Facebook group.
Oh my god!
That's an embarrassment to like all the Philadelphia dance.
Oh, you know, could I pull that up?
No, just don't. Let's not.
Come on, man. No.
Because it wasn't probably endorsed by the NFL, so they're gonna work to take that video down.
I mean, Roger Goodell might actually suspend him from wearing any Eagles apparel. He shouldn't be allowed to wear anything NFL anymore.
That's why, like you said, like everybody say, you know what you were saying. They shouldn't have never gave us the internet. They should have never give people NFL apparel, especially if you ain't rocking it right.
Yeah, that was just terrible.
Chuck Benderek is rolling over in his grave.
Yep.
Yeah. Randall Cunningham is rolling over in his grave.
Randall Cunningham did.
I know. That's Charles Barkley.
Yeah, Charles Barkley always says that.
You don't remember that?
You gonna kill Randall?
No, I ain't gonna kill Randall, man. But yeah. So I seen that. I was gonna send you the link to it. I was gonna forward it to you. But I was like, nah, I ain't gonna do that because that's embarrassing, dog. Because if he had that and was talking about something, I'm going to Burger King, give me a piece of hamburger, and got a Redskin hat. Oh, I'm like, change the name.
I mean, you know, every Sunday you see a bunch of Dallas Cowboys doing the same thing and the same kind of thing, so it kind of works out.
I mean, that's just funny, but you know. So round out this week's starting 5. Question number 5: in the percentage, the chance of Ray Rice playing in Week 1. artist formula on us. Hey, diddle Ray Rice up the middle. First off, check down. Hey, diddle Ray Rice up the middle.
I say it's a 50-50 chance. You know, training
really?
camp comes up. Yeah, 50%.
Oh, okay.
Yo, you really feel.
Yeah.
Because you figure somebody who's gonna lose. I say some team like Atlanta, where they have a really inexperienced running back group.
Yeah.
And you know, Kyle Shanahan will take a.
Yeah.
He needs a running back.
Yeah.
And
boy,
you can't really depend on what Jacquez
Rogers
and Devontae Freeman. You can't depend on those guys. Like you don't know what they need a veteran running back.
That's why they need to get Jamal Anderson out of retirement.
Whoa, he got a crack charge.
Cocaine cowboy.
Yeah, but you know what's so funny? The spot I really think he could kind of go to, I would like him with the Cowboys. To an extent.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be half bad.
I mean,
that wouldn't be half bad. I mean,
look.
You're not gonna bring that not with Greg Harder and that team.
Yeah. The women's rights groups would go crazy.
Yeah, and then you got your running back. He's still in draws in Cologne because it looks like he'll get a bang.
And then you know,
I mean, I've gone to stores like that before, and I've had the urge to steal Cologne. So I understand where he comes from.
And then you got
I'm joking.
Dez, Mama B. You know, you can't have all those guys.
But Dad's mama is not Dad's mama. That is huge. Dad's mama, no.
How would they treat Tony Romo? You got all those guys who are known woman beaters. You can't put them in the same team with Tony Romo.
I wouldn't worry about Tony. I would worry more about Jason Witten. Jason Witten's mom apparently used to get beat up by his father, so he's really, really emotional about domestic violence. 50%, I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, I hope he doesn't get blackballed, but, like, I would say probably about 25-30%. Like, I think it's a shame that this might actually ruin his career because there have been a lot of football players and still football players today that beat up on their wives, but, like, it was publicized in a hotel or whatever. So, I mean, like, I hate that he became the poster child of domestic violence in the NFL when there are other situations that have been much worse than his situation.
Yeah, like you look at the Ray McDonald. And like I said, the reason why Ray Rice is even going through this is not because that Roger Goodell saw the tape. It's because that we, as the American public, saw the tape. So you hope he doesn't get blackballed. You don't want it to because he was talented. I mean, if all else fails, I think that Baltimore, because they unjustly suspended him, you know, they cut him. And he should be given a first crack to go back there. Whether he would want to go back, I have no idea.
I don't think he would want to go back because they kind of throw him under the bus too. And I think that he was being honest about the situation. I don't know. I have a different opinion about it because if you look at the video, his wife, and I'm not saying what happened was right. I think both of them were being idiots, but his wife instigated the situation, and people turned her into like this victim because we're very sensitive about domestic violence in America. But like the Ravens kind of did him dirty. Like he was honest and forthright with them. He was honest and forthright with Roger Goodell, and they just screwed him over. Like I feel really bad for him.
And I think Baltimore, the franchise, I think they panicked because they didn't know the severity of what was going to happen. So because you know once you get like a team publicist in your ear, like okay, this is the worst case scenario, this is going to happen, they panicked and they went ahead and cut him before they, you know, there was no trial, there was nothing that went on before they just terminated his contract. And like I said, they panicked because they were worried about the outcome of the event of what could have happened rather than what did happen. And so, you know,
exactly.
He came to them, so he told them, you know, this is what went down. It was up to them how they wanted to decide. Then Roger Goodell jumps in there. Yeah, he's suspended indefinitely. So then, you know, all right, well, we're not going to pay this guy just to be on the team, so we cut him.
Yeah. And it was a classic overreaction to Ravens and what Roger Goodell did when the tape came out. Yeah. And I'm sorry, Roger Goodell, he saw the tape.
Oh yeah, he saw the tape. He's seen the tape. I mean, ain't no way he had power, you know.
But like I said, one of the hotel employees said he gave it to an NFL official. So
exactly. And of course, I mean that's just like anything. I mean, if TMZ got it, then you know.
I saw the tape.
There are a bunch of tapes.
But
around.
That's what I'm saying.
That tape got passed out more than the R. Kelly tape.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
How about the Kim Kardashian Ray J tape?
It was.
I think we'll talk about her later.
Yeah, we'll talk about her a little later, and it's just more of a y'all thoughts about it. But when we come back, we'll take a brief time out. Actually, that's when we'll do our other stories. We'll talk about Anthony. Got a beef with two other guys. Well, you know, we had the beef last week with Richard Sherman. And I got one with Kellen Winslow. Jr. Also, we'll talk about Damian Thomason as we serenade you with a instant classic. Hopefully, they'll be entertained in the second hour, and then Kim K did something real nice for a gentleman for his birthday. Hopefully one day, I can get that type of treatment.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll be back here. This is Couch Coach Live. call this segment Couch Bits, as we all set that up. Pretty much like you're in the couch on the sofa, whatever. You find little, knickknacks and stuff. You might find some coins, pennies, whatever. So these are stories that normally you won't see on the front page of your local sports news, but it's definitely noteworthy. So we gotta have. I think I guess we do need to tell people big news that starting next week we'll be on Tuesdays now. Tuesdays, which I think maybe we'll do a Twitter Tuesday or something. We'll create something. So speaking of Twitter Tuesday or Twitter Thursday, whatever, Kellen Winslow Jr. challenges Antonio Cromartie to fight after Twitter argument. There's always a Twitter beef.
I think athletes should stay off of Twitter.
Exactly.
I agree 100%.
I agree.
Once your league year starts, just stay off of Twitter.
Yeah. No more Twitter. Okay. So let's see. I guess we're gonna start this from the beginning. And this is pretty much the expound of what we were talking about last week, as far as the whole Richard Sherman and Antonio Cromartie. Pretty much he was saying how he's not the best cornerback in the league because he plays only 3 coverages. Blah blah blah. So Kellen Winslow said, and I quote, "Cromartie is one of the biggest posers I've ever seen and played against. Probably the last guy I would take down an alley with me." And then also, he said, "Worry about yourself, Crow. Stop talking. You're not even close to the best. You got bad feet and you're scared to jam." And also, Kellen Winslow said, and then Antonio Cromartie was like, "You wish you was good as your dad. Have you been a target lately?" Which we all know the situation where he claimed he was just getting dressed in a Target parking lot, but
he was charged with doing something else.
Yeah, he was charged with doing the Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
And that's funny. What's so funny? And I remember that happened when we were kids, and it's like having to hear the explanation of what Pee Wee Herman did as like an 8-year-old child was like, really? Yeah. Anyway, it was like, and then Kellen, of course, said, "We should get in the ring." And then also, they had a little Twitter beef a little bit this morning. It was this morning. He was like, Kellen Winslow said, "At Cromartie 31, you wish you were a dad. Learn your kids' names." Ouch! Ouch!
Double ouch!
Ouch, Charlie! Ouch!
I just found out he actually had a vasectomy, so he can't have any more kids.
You're lying.
Yeah, he had one in 2013. I was reading on the internet, so he can't have any more kids. Maybe 7 to 8 kids too late, but I mean, at least he got one.
Yes, just like the famous Bob Barker used to say, you can control the pet population by getting your pets spayed or neutered. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, because he was getting a little out of hand. Yeah.
10 kids.
10 kids. 10. Cromartie plus 10 and counting. That's a good little reality show.
He's probably going to have to do that after football. You know when the lockout came, he was begging to reinstate football.
Yeah, he didn't care. Yeah, he was on the front lines.
He was picking to the fence. Yeah, he's going to definitely need some. I hope he's business savvy or something because... Man, 10 kids.
Or hopefully he's listening to Couch Coach Live and he's understanding, like, wow, this guy got like a little producer in him. He's created a title, Cromartie plus 10 and counting.
Yeah,
he's gonna go to jail for like lack of paying child support in like 5-6 years.
Yeah, I mean, because that's a lot. That's a lot of money.
He's gonna have to play till he's like 45.
Yeah, he's gonna have to play. Yeah, he's gonna have to be like Drew Brees.
Him and Drew Brees.
Well, he got to become a coach real quick.
Yeah, you gonna have to, maybe,
when you sit there and you think about this whole argument, like, Cromartie sounds like an over excessive hype man. It's like
he's agitated, like
because when you sit there as a competitor, if you're playing in the NFL, you want to be the ultimate competitor. So why are you hyping up another guy saying that he's the best? Why wouldn't you take to say that you're the best corner?
Yeah, I'm the best.
So
I feel like Aaron Andrews. Well, who was talking about you?
So, with Kellen Winslow, it's like coming out of Miami, I thought he was going to be like a great player, but you know when you get picked at the top of the draft, sometimes that's not your fault. So him going to Cleveland was, you know, didn't help him too much, and then going to the Jets.
Yeah, well, he was teammates with Antonio.
He was with Tampa Bay before he was with the Jets. Though he had like some good years in Cleveland, but he got hurt really bad, and he wasn't the same after.
That's when he had the motorcycle accident.
Yeah, he had the motorcycle accident. Yeah, but I didn't really like what Antonio Cromartie said about Richard Sherman. It sounded like he was jealous. Like he's like, oh, he plays with two good. You can't fault a person for playing with great players or whatever. And I mean, Antonio Cromartie, I think, is just envious of like Richard Sherman.
He never got that big contract.
Yeah. He sounded like he's just very like jealous of like Richard Sherman's situation. Yeah. So but you know,
when you hear Cromartie talk like in the offseason when he doesn't have a contract, he's like pitching his own ideas to what team he could play for. Like before the Jets even became a thought. Oh, Reavers is back, so now let me go to the Jets. Because he was telling like reporters like he would be the missing piece to Dallas.
Yeah,
if he went to the Cowboys. Like no, just stop doing that. You're not that good. You weren't that good in San Diego. You weren't that good in Florida State. He's a number 2 corner. That's what he is. I mean, once you accept that role, I think then he'll be fine. But just like stop hyping up somebody else. Like you don't hear Revis is done with that whole I'm the best corner in football.
Yeah, and he's quiet.
He don't have to defend that anymore. Yeah. Everybody knows
it's action. It's action. Ain't nobody throwing him inside the field. Ain't nobody trying to do that.
You know, like people, they run the ball at Sherman. Like they purposely throw screens that way just so because you know he can't tackle. I think he's a worse tackler than Dion. And that's bad. So,
what were they saying about you? And staying on the Cromartie train, that is. So pretty much your boy Richard Sherman clapped back to the comments that was made to him last week. And he said, and I quote, that's unfortunate. He talked to Seattle, the media on after Tuesday's OTAs. You would think after me helping him get to the Pro Bowl during the 2014 season, we went to the Super Bowl and he wouldn't have made a Pro Bowl otherwise. And now he's talking bad. I was like, wow, your boy.
Antonio Cromartie. I mean, it's just something about all those promoter guys in the NFL. It's just something.
Dominique DRC. I mean,
Didn't he like guarantee that they were gonna win the Super Bowl against like Seattle and they got like stomped? Yeah. They just need to be quiet and just play football.
I had the pleasure, the pain of watching him play 2 years in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah, he was part of. Supposedly was supposed to be the dream team. Him and Namdi.
Vince Young.
Yeah, we don't utter those words anymore.
Okay.
Why? What's wrong?
Yeah, we don't say that word because, like I said, who listens to a backup quarterback?
Hey man,
a backup quarterback. So if Kirk Cousins comes out right now and says that the Redskins are going to the playoffs, what are you gonna do?
This ain't got nothing to do with me.
Exactly. Man. You stay out of stuff. You don't listen to a backup quarterback.
I don't know, man. He might give me renewed hope. Well, no, because remember the action that kind of happened, remember? Or Rex Grossman was like, we was going to win the NFC East. Remember that year? Yo. I was like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah, but bring back Grossman. Well, John Beck. Bring back one of those guys.
John Beck, man. John Beck was alright.
Chase Daniels.
Yeah, I remember Chase Daniels was there. Who else we had?
Cole Brennan.
Cole Brennan, I'm telling you, Cole Brennan was sweet. Cole Brennan was nice. I used to have his jersey.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those spread quarterbacks coming from college.
Yeah.
They don't get fair shots in the NFL. That's just my opinion. I think if you can play the game, you can play the game. It doesn't matter what system you come from.
Yeah. But the issue with the spread offense is like they don't have a playbook, so sometimes they have a difficult time learning the playbook and stuff. So
hey, adjust the playbook for your players. It's just like, because everybody comes from a system, so when they say, "Oh, they don't come from a pro style," they played a pro style offense in college. Look at the worst quarterbacks that we have seen in recent years who played in pro style offenses: Jimmy Clausen, Matt Leinart, Mark Sanchez.
Yo, boy.
I mean, Mark Sanchez hasn't been that horrible. He's been a serviceable starter. He hasn't been a superstar though.
Yeah, but like,
Jimmy Clausen's bad. I agree with you.
Jimmy
on that
Clausen
line.
is he's bad. Michael.
Yeah, so you know,
Oh, Jimmy.
Troy Smith.
Troy
you know,
Smith, yeah.
But Troy Smith was never going to be a starter. He's like 5'8", 160 pounds.
He won games in San Francisco.
Yeah. Can't win with him. Because I remember they played a Monday Night Football game.
Yeah.
It was. I remember they was. Yeah, it was a good game. They won that one, but you know, here nor there. So you know, we our next story, we got to set them up with a little soundtrack. Yeah, what you know about that, L.A.? Matter of fact, this team might be going to Los Angeles. You know, who knows? You know, but So former Chargers running back Danny Tomlinson will enter the Chargers Hall of Fame. His jersey will be retired on November 22nd during halftime of the Chargers and the Chiefs Sunday Night Football tilt, which who knows? Your boy Andy Reid will be witness to the unveiling of the retired jersey.
That'll be probably the best coach game by Andy Reid. He does things like that.
Yeah.
Or, in fact, it might be his worst game. You know, it's just one of the ways with Andy. He just. Everybody knows how I feel about Andy Reid, but you know, with LT, I think is long deserved. They should have never let him go in the first place.
Yeah.
What he did to that franchise, you know, he gave them hope. I mean, it wasn't his fault. I mean, even though the fact that he never won a playoff game in San Diego,
it's crazy.
It kind of hurt. Yeah. Him and Phillip Rivers together never won a playoff game.
I know they did. They won in 2007. They won 2, and they made the championship game. Well, no, Phillip Rivers played, and he played. They didn't play in the championship game.
They got hurt because that was the game when Billy Bowler won.
Well, no, but Phillip Rivers came back. Well, he won the first game because they beat the Titans in 2007.
Yeah.
And they played together in that game, but in the game against the Colts, they got hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, they got hurt, yeah.
But Phillip Rivers played in the championship game, but LT didn't. But
yeah.
But yeah, LT, he should have been retired. It's kind of sad that he didn't finish his career. Well, he did. He signed a 1-day contract, but he played 2 years. He just didn't look good in a just uniform either. You hate to see a player he's been playing for a team for 12 years. He gets released and he goes to another team. Like Emmitt Smith in a Cardinals uniform.
Yeah, that was kind of strange.
Yeah, it does. It happens, but
in the league of the
Yeah, I saw.
Just don't do the lights out dance.
Yeah.
On the logo, he'll get angry.
Yeah.
Try to fight you.
Yeah, because you're a classless organization.
Oh. I took my daughter to soccer practice today. Man, your boy, Emmett, man, you're a trip, man. But also we gotta talk about Andre Johnson. Andre Johnson, as we all know, he's the new Indianapolis Colts receiver. And of course, we all know his struggles with Houston, and pretty much he's having a revolving door at quarterback during his tumultuous years at Houston. And he pretty much has great compliments for Andrew Luck, saying that he's a hell of a player. And also, he said, when you look at all the teams that have won Super Bowls over the past few years, they've all had great quarterback play. And we have a great quarterback here. I can't say I've been fortunate enough to play with great quarterbacks in my 12 years in this league, so I'm able to play with one now. So sorry, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Sorry, Matt Schaub. Sorry, Case Keenum. Sorry, T.J. Yates. University of North Carolina, stand up. David Carr. Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah.
Who else was there? Ryan Mallett.
Yeah.
Oh, they had Matt Leinart also. He was.
Yeah. Matt Leinart. Yeah, he was there.
But
I mean, he's right though.
Yeah, but you can't. He hasn't played a game with him. You're talking about what we talking about? We're talking about practice.
You're talking about
You're
practice.
talking about football outside of pads, and jerseys, and t-shirts and shorts. You can't say that he's the greatest quarterback you've ever played with. You haven't played a game with him. You're out there playing catch.
Yeah. But look at
you're not facing. But look
who the quarterback is.
I understand that, but Matt Schaub did throw 4,000 yards a couple times in Houston, so it wasn't like Matt Schaub just hit a plateau where
he just
fell off.
It
wasn't his fault. That's Andre Johnson's fault for staying there all them years. When you have that chance to exercise your free agency,
do it.
You know that they're bringing in an older quarterback. What's your window?
Short.
Yeah, you got about a 3 year window with that quarterback. So you don't. And Matt Schaub was already what, 27 when he got to Houston, somewhere late.
Yeah, because he was late in his when he got to Houston after Michael. That was 2007.
Yeah, so
that was like
2007, 2008. That's when he got there.
Yeah, so Schaub
he was already because he was at UVA when we was in high school.
Yeah, so he sat for about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So that's his own fault. I mean,
yeah.
You have plenty of chances. You see people leave teams. All right, look, we're not doing anything here. It's time to go.
Exactly, and he could have made moves, but like you said, I mean, man, I remember at one time I thought they were going to win Super Bowl. I mean, they were at a point where they were at a level where they could win. And I remember in 2012, I was like, this is probably the most complete team in the National Football League, and it was at that time. I mean, but like we said, the injury bug hit them, and
Yeah, I mean, and Matt Schaub was not a horrible quarterback. Like the comments, I don't know the context of the comments and like how it was or whatever. Yeah, but Matt Schaub was a decent. You know who Matt Schaub reminds me of? He's not a great quarterback. He's good. Yeah, he reminds me of an Andy Dalton. Yeah. He reminds me of an Andy Dalton. A little better than Andy Dalton.
He gets you about 10, 11 wins in the regular season.
Yeah, I would have went towards more like a Rich Gannon type, where he can get the job done. Just don't turn the ball over. That's all you ask of him. Yeah. But and that goes to the higher ups on the team. Like for so long, all right, this is your foundation of your team. You got a serviceable quarterback. You got a running game because they went from Steve Slayton and Arian Foster, Dominic Davis. You went up through all that. Then you had Andre Johnson and Owen Daniels. Where's the other dynamic receiver? They went, week in and week out, just trying to plug this guy there and hope he does something.
Yeah.
Get somebody other weapon. Like and I hate when teams do that. You got this one wide receiver who's catching 100+ balls a year, and then your next leading receiver catches 50. Why? Why would you set your team up for failure like that? Because what does that do? That means that this wide receiver has to be double coverage week in and week out and put up the same numbers, and you know where your quarterback is going to. That's why Matthew Stafford, I think, looked so bad in his early part of his years. Now he has a secondary receiver that Megatron doesn't have to fight week in and week out. Golden Tate is a decent receiver for him.
Golden.
So,
shout out to Golden Tate ruining people's marriages. Shout out to Golden Tate.
Okay.
I mean, hey, it is what it is, though.
Yeah.
So also I know this is in our last topic. It's somewhat sports related, but it's just it's a nice little talk. Shout out to Kim Kardashian, who she surprised her husband Kanye West for his birthday, 30th birthday. She ran out the Staples Center. Pretty much blindfolded him, took him to the Staples Center, and they had like a little all-star game. Okay. She pulled out about $110K to rent the Staples Center.
I mean, when you got that kind of money, hey, it's pennies to them.
It's pennies to them. That's the same people that Kanye, he rented out the San Francisco Giants ballpark for the engagement. So I'm like, man, hey.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Was Lamar Odom invited? Yes, no?
Unless it was a $45,000 crack party with Tyrone Pickens. Shazam!
He's here for the 5 o'clock free crack giveaway.
How you sell somebody a house in a weekend? Like, Tyrone, you sold my house.
That's impossible, bro.
Like, dog, how do you pass the real estate exam over the weekend and sell somebody's house? It was like, it ain't me, Ron. It was you, Tyrone, with them crusty lips. He's Tyrone.
The police found you halfway up the block. How on crack? It's impossible, bro.
How can you be up?
How can you sleep with your high on crack?
Is you gonna pay me with cash? Cause I got run. I got errands to run. Oh my god, yo! I don't know, man. To be honest with you, I don't know what's going on with that situation with Lamar Odom. To be honest with you, I don't know, man.
I think that the Kardashian girls are poison. I think that you need to get away from them as soon as possible or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, the only one who remained unscathed was Reggie Bush.
And he actually got a career resurrection.
Yeah, he got a resurrection. Miles Austin went down.
Yeah, now he's in Cleveland.
Tubes. Yeah.
Now he's in Cleveland. He's probably
he's in Philly now.
Oh, he's in Philly. Oh, oh God, that's even worse.
There's no God, nothing.
I mean, I'm just saying he got a chance of getting released.
Nah, he won't be released.
Shoot, I don't know what Chip Kelly.
If he stays hurt a lot, yeah, he will.
We have a sports science program for that. We're okay.
Okay.
Chip Kelly be like, he looked at me wrong during breakfast. Cut him.
No. Don't talk about my guy.
I know.
I'm a Chip Kelly guy.
Yeah, I know you are. But yeah, I'm telling you, and I think slowly Chris Humphries is kind of coming back as far as he's doing pretty good in Washington.
Yeah.
I mean, to be,
I forgot he was married to her.
For 28 days. 38 days. Oh, yeah, that's right, because it made Gloria Johnson and Brendan Griner marriage look, Yeah. But, so, I mean, that's, shout out to them. I mean, that'd be nice one day, you have a situation where a venue can be rented out. I mean, I'm a simple guy. I'm like, so, ladies, if you want to, if my birthday's in October, if, I'm still single at the moment. So, I mean, just rent out the Arthur Center for me.
What about the laser tag arena? Would that be okay?
Sports back somewhere on the boulevard. you can or even if we get a stadium in Chaco Bottom, that'd be nice. But that ain't gonna never happen. And I might as well do something at the Diamond because it ain't gonna be here for long.
That's sad.
It's Richmond for you.
Oh, what's going on with the Diamond? I'm out of the loop.
Pretty much as you probably remember, of course, they've been trying to build a stadium down in Chaco Bottom forever.
Yeah.
And it seemed like the plan is gonna fall, and it looks like the Flying Squirrels management is pretty much like, you know what, I want my stadium or else.
Oh, okay. So
in other words, they're gonna be like the Richmond Braves. They probably gonna end up going to Gwinnett or wherever and just doing somewhere else. I don't know. We might end up getting somebody one day, but I don't know.
Yeah, sad. Richmond sports, sad.
Yeah, it is sad. Guess I'd be going to Highland Springs high school baseball games. And I don't even know the name of their baseball stadium. It's crazy, but anyway, that's gonna be it. VCU. VCU got baseball.
Yeah, you can go there.
I went there.
University of Richmond has
they got baseball.
Too, yeah.
But I went to a VCU game. I was like, man, I feel like I was the only one there. Like literally. It was probably maybe like 100-some people if that. And I mean, they was playing like UVA, which I was kind of shocked because normally you would think like that game would be kind of, especially at that time, they were pretty good. But who knows? But hey, but yeah. So I don't know what's going to end up happening ultimately with that stadium. I just think it's probably we just ain't gonna have no baseball probably. But that's how they get down here in the RVN, unfortunately. But there's no sports, but there is a great sports talk radio show that comes on every Tuesday, starting on June 16th, same time from 7 to 9. We'll be here for you. Also, let's talk a little Brittany Griner, and y'all want to talk about that a little bit? Y'all, come on, man, y'all acting scared. Y'all just, we, but we shall see. But yeah. But y'all scared to touch on the hot stove song?
Nah, just
don't.
I mean, I've said my piece about it.
Not gonna be able to do it.
I've been making jokes about it the last week. So.
Matter of fact, that's right. Because because you the article. I had the article when but
and I said this can't be like with the smiley crying, laughing. So,
I think all of us really felt that way. But what we do, we take a brief time out, and we'll be back on Couch Coach Live. Still.
my schedule works.
really went at the forefront of not the criticism, but just more so of it was, as far as handling, it was definitely justifiable, crucial of the NFL's handling of Ray Rice. Now he's turning his attention to U.S. soccer. They're pretty much not caring of the Hope Solo's alleged assault on her half sister and nephew, which has been viewed as blatantly, pardon me, it's having them grandma cookies, ignored by officials. So he also said, these are not merely professional athletes in professional sports that we're talking about. Hope Solo, Coach Jill Ellis, and President Sunil Jalanti are representing the country, you and me, and clearly none of them is qualified to do so, certainly not now. Solo deserves immediate suspension with all rights of appeal. Ms. Ellis and Mr. Galati, however, who have shown this condescending attitude of sports first, reality second, protect the bubble at all times, and have been the worst possible role models for and the worst possible representatives of his country, should be immediately dismissed. End quote. Fair or foul for Keith Olbermann's staunch comments on Hope Solo?
I mean, it's fair. I mean, she should get the same treatment as anybody else. I mean,
I think fair too, and she's had like this issue of domestic violence. Like, remember
Multiple.
before her and Jeremy Stevens got married, there was an issue with both of them or whatever.
They still married, aren't they?
Yeah, they're still married. Yeah, and like days after this happened,
Yeah.
like they got married or whatever. So I mean, she's a repeat offender, and I mean, like I think that there's a lot of hypocrisy in our country about domestic violence. Like, if you look at the statistics or whatever, there are a lot of women who beat up their boyfriends and beat up their husbands, but it's seen as a joke.
Yeah.
Like, people think it's funny when a woman beats a man up, but like if a man just pushes a woman back or whatever, people are up in arms about it and like, oh, he deserves to go to jail. But like, I definitely think it's fair.
Yeah, I think we both agree in unison that it's it's definitely that way, because it's just like, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Like like he said, and even he said on here as well, and later on in the article saying like if she was in the NFL, she'd be suspended. You know.
Oh, she
but
would.
now, yeah, and now she's
or she'd be on that
exempt list.
exempt list, yeah.
And now she's just balling for the for the U.S. Women's National Team, and they'll play it again tomorrow morning.
Yeah, so and that's why, because it's the middle of the tournament's about to come up. So
it's up
there.
Yeah,
they've already had a game the other day.
And let's just be honest or whatever. Like, if she was like declining in her skills or whatever, they probably would have like cut ties with her. But she's still probably considered the best goalie in women's soccer or whatever. So they didn't want to hurt their team.
Yeah.
They want to win it, so they're in it to win it. So they'll look past it.
Yeah, the attitude of sports first and reality second, just like Keith Olbermann said it best. So I mean, but so we both agree with this. This one is gonna be a fair and foul, but we also can kind of have a little discussion on it as well. Magic Johnson, that's another somebody who maybe need to stay off of Twitter in a sense. Magic Johnson, he's a little, I mean, he can be annoying here and there. So he has some pretty provocative tweets. He said, first tweet, he said, if LeBron keeps playing the way he's playing and the Cavs win this title, this will be the single greatest performance we've seen in the finals. And also, after the first 3 games, LeBron James should be on everybody's Mount Rushmore, including mine. Okay, so first we're gonna do the fair or foul of the first tweet. If LeBron keeps playing the way he's playing, the Cavs win the title, this will be the single greatest performance we've seen in the NBA Finals. Would you agree? Fair or foul with that?
From what I've seen, it's up there. I think people forget about what Dwayne Wade did in 2006. Like, and if you look at that Miami roster, that wasn't a very good. You had a Shaq that was declining. You had a bunch of other characters on that team that were like not
Gary
in their
Payton,
prime. Yeah,
Glove.
they were not in their prime. So I mean, Dwayne Wade. I mean, you look at games 3 through 6, he averaged I think close to 40 points a game, and the series he averaged over 30.
Yeah,
I mean, he put on a class performance. But no, LeBron's, it has to be up there.
Yeah. Hold on, before we, I guess, do I have to give you? Do I have to give you intro music?
Please don't.
One more time. You sure?
I'm positive.
One more time.
You gonna do it anyway? So.
Sorry.
LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James.
All right, LA. It's gonna hurt you. This gonna pain you. Do like Stephen A. Smith or Skip Bayless, bro.
I mean, it is a great performance what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's set up like it's a video game. Like he's got it on rookie level, and he's just playing because the rest of the and I don't know if it's the slight the other Cavs is like they're just sitting back and watching him play. It's just you got those guys like J.R. Smith and Shumpert. They were like, you know, they wanted to get away from New York because they wanted a more active approach. They wanted to win. They wanted to contribute more. And then you see them just sit back doing the same role that they did playing with Carmelo. So, and it's just a lot of things go into factor. So if Kyrie was playing, would he still be having this same type of role that he's on? Same thing with Kevin Love.
Perhaps, you know. I mean, this is one of those things where, I mean, who knows? You know, I mean, to me, it's a good performance. I'm not gonna say that he's like the greatest performance. Like you say, you want to go back to Dwayne Wade. I go back to 1998 with Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's just the bias. No, the 98, the one against Utah, the second go round.
But I mean,
yeah.
And for you saying that though, like
yeah.
Michael Jordan did have a good group of characters.
Yeah,
I mean,
no
Pippen
yeah.
averaged over 20 points a game in that series.
Yeah, no question.
So
yeah.
you have Dennis Rodman,
Yeah.
Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
what I'm saying is like
yeah.
with this group of characters that he's playing with, I think the performance is like amazing with the group of characters he's playing.
Of course. Yeah.
But he's also like LeBron has never been a high volume shooter, but to see him miss 20 shots a game, I mean,
I don't really have a problem with that in a sense. I mean, to be honest with you, because it just, like you said, just due to the fact of he has to do it all.
But you look at any other superstar who misses 20 shots a game.
Yeah.
They miss so many shots. Kobe can't miss 20 shots a game and it'd be positive feedback about it. He can't do it.
But you know LeBron gets the lion's share of hate, regardless. You know, even if he was shot 75% from the field, well, he should have went 80. He should have went 90. So, you know, when we the best player in the league, it comes with the territory. And like you said, with him not being the quote-unquote high-volume scorer, I wouldn't say I give him a pass for that, for missing 20. But it's like, you kind of understand because ain't nobody else there.
Let's take away some of those shots where, you know, that offhand. We always talk about that, how he pushes off on every single shot. You can't tell me a shot that he takes to the lane and he doesn't push off. Just watch his offhand. Just watch it.
Okay.
You know,
Hey.
Every time you see that dip.
Buck Nassif, the most diabolical hater this side of the Mississippi. But, I mean, it's here nor there. So now I want to get, before we take a time out and conclude our last segment, NBA Mount Rushmore. Who want to go first? Got 4 guys to put on there.
I'll go.
All right.
I would put Michael Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
Jerry West, Green,
Okay.
and I would say Bill Russell.
Okay.
I go with Michael Jordan. This is where it gets kind of tough at. I agree with Jerry West. Oscar Robertson.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's a toss-up. Like, you know, I really like Bill Russell a lot. He won so many championships, but like I think, you know, toss between him and Will Chamberlain.
I know, and that's one thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, and
Kareem is great. Like, don't get me wrong, but like,
it's
no.
just so hard for four guys.
Yeah, for 4 guys, yeah, it's really hard. Like all the guys that you mentioned, that we both mentioned, I'm sure they're like all in our top 10. So it's really tough when you have to narrow it down to 4 people.
And I look at it from just a standpoint of just their contribution to the game. Of course, I got Michael, I got Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and then I got Bill Russell. Because I look at, especially with Magic and Bird, because if it weren't for them, we wouldn't be watching NBA Finals tonight at 9 o'clock. We'd probably be watching at 2 or 3 o'clock tomorrow morning on tape delay. You know, because what they've done for the league, and you know, at that time the league was in like dire straits. You know, and for them to pretty much resuscitate the league and to get guys who are flourishing now, you're looking at like that. You know, if it weren't for them, there wouldn't be like a Michael Jordan in a sense. Because who knows what would have happened 4 or 5 years down the road if we didn't have that type of star power at that time. They pretty much resurrected the league. So that is my Mount Rushmore. So.
I would probably change up, like maybe swap out Oscar for Magic Johnson.
Yeah. And that's one thing. It's 4, so it's like you know, it ain't like it's a top 10 where it's like okay, somebody's gonna get omitted. You know, I was scared you were gonna say Allen Iverson.
Listen.
Okay, so make sure. I mean, it's people that trust me. There's some Philly people that get
Iverson was the greatest
ever.
Yeah.
I mean, if everything would have went right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Billy King would have never took over as GM. He would have did that.
Leave Billy King alone, man. Billy King.
I can't.
Look what he's doing with the Nets.
Yeah, but this is the same guy who drafted Keith Van Horn. No, he drafted Tim Thomas.
Tim Thomas,
Traded
yeah.
for Keith Van Horn.
I remember that's so funny because I remember Tim Thomas used to play with Chicago, right? And they traded him to the Clippers, and he was balling that year. Remember that year with Sam Cassell? I was like, what the world? Like Tim Thomas was playing like he's at Villanova.
The same guy who traded Larry Hughes for Tony Kukoc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? You see my panel
I
on
mean,
board.
I mean, it's a lot of moves he did. I forgot what other questionable move I think he did. But yeah, I don't know. But what we can do, we ain't even gonna take a time. What we're gonna do, we're just gonna do our game 4 preview. Our first question is on a scale from 1 to 10, the panic level of the Golden State Warriors at this stage.
3.
I think it's got to be higher than that. I would say 6. I think that it's a bit concerning that the last 2 games they haven't been able to get the pace up. They're only down 2-1, and I mean, you know,
I say
2-1.
7.
Yeah,
I say 7.
Yeah, 2-1 is not like that bad.
It's not the end of the world.
If they go down 3-1, then
the
it has to be like
9.
It has to be 8-9.
Chef Curry just came back from the grocery store, so he's got the ingredients now. Tonight, watch him cook up 50.
Cook up 50.
Well, I think the biggest thing is Draymond Green and Harrison Barnes have to step it up. 2 for 18 between both of those guys. Game 3, that's not going to get it done. Well, and they're getting open shots too.
What's going to happen now? You're going to see the emergence of David Lee come back into play.
David Lee.
So I mean,
All-Star.
It's just like so many things that, like the refs are playing too big of a part in the game because it's like you look at a lot of questionable calls. It's like. Not to be biased with Steph Curry, but you see him, he's getting fouled a lot by Dellavedova coming off of screens. Like, the man's face guard him. You can't face guard in basketball. So you just see him getting hit, and it's just too much. They're letting him play too much, but it's not equal. The calls aren't equal. Because I looked at one play last game where when Golden State bought the game within 1, Cleveland takes the ball up the court. The next play, Curry fouls Dellavedova. But they don't call it until after Dellavedova takes a shot. And he goes in. Then they call a foul. He fouled him before he went around the screen.
Oh, yeah, he did.
But they waited, They're waiting. Like, it's just too much. That's why...
Yeah, no, I agree. And Dellavedova is fouling. Like when he's going through the screens, he's grabbing jerseys. And he's doing stuff like that. I'm going to be interested to see how they call the game tonight. I think they might call the game a bit tighter tonight.
You have to.
Yeah. But,
And a lot of people are complaining that LeBron's not going to the free throw line. LeBron's getting away with a bunch of offensive fouls too. Like if he's in the post, he's pushing Iguodala off a lot. He's not doing anything. I think it works out both ways. Like LeBron's not going to the foul line, but let's be honest, he plays super aggressive defense.
Yeah.
He hasn't even come close to fouling out. That hasn't been the foul share. So I think it's evening out that way. So
when you sit there and watch him cry and throw a temper tantrum because he can't get a foul when he wants it. I mean, it's like, look at all the other tic-tac fouls that you get throughout the course of the game.
Yeah. In the travels.
Yeah, exactly. With that game 2 when he took 4 shots.
Oh, yeah. I was just like, wow. I can play in the NBA.
Yeah.
That made me like, hey, I need to get myself in shape.
Yeah, it's just, you can't have it both ways, or he's not getting a lot. But, a lot of people, the LeBron lovers, they're going to say, well, no, he didn't do that. He didn't do that. Like, you have to watch games with your eyes. Like, you just...
It's just being in a state of denial. That's what it is. It's like, LeBron get away with stuff. I mean,
it's just like, I want Golden State to win, but I look at them take 3-pointer after 3-pointer after 3-pointer. That game 2 with Steph Curry, you don't shoot that much. Like, I have a problem with jump shooters trying to shoot themselves into a rhythm. I understand that's what you can do in practice when you're stationary, but this is a game. You got to figure out another way to get to that basket.
Oh yeah. And that's something they need to do tonight. They need to stop settling for threes. They need to go to the basket and they need to become the referees call the game. I've always felt that the team that's the most aggressive, the referees call the game for the team that's the aggressor, and I felt like they were being very passive. Now in the fourth quarter they turned to aggressor, but they have to find a way to get to the line more than 12 times. You're not gonna beat Cleveland on the road only getting to the free throw line unless you hit like 14, 15 3-points.
Yeah, and another thing that I want to see Golden State do. Take the ball out of Steph Curry. He can't bring the ball up because you got 5 guys looking at him. It's 1-on-5 now. They're waiting to see what he's going to do. He's too hesitant. If you got Iguodala in the game, he's a good playmaker. Let him bring the ball up because you kind of put pressure on LeBron that way because LeBron can't sit back and watch. He has to play an aggressive defense. You can cause him to commit more fouls. But the pick and roll game has to be better than what it is.
Yeah, I agree. And Steph needs to. They need to get the ball out of Steph's hands, and I think David Lee will help out tonight because David Lee's a playmaker. He can pass the ball, so I look to see more David Lee tonight and more Festus Ezeli and less Bogut tonight.
Okay. So question number 2, we got which MVP will score the most?
It's LeBron gonna have to score. There's no one else on Cleveland that's gonna put up those kind of shots. Like I said, they're just standing around watching him. When you look at LeBron ISO. There is no movement outside. They are just sitting there watching him.
Ain't got no choice.
Yeah, but run around, trail the play, do something.
So in my case, you said Steph Curry gonna have 50. So what LeBron will have? You saying LeBron will score the most?
So I take it back. Yeah.
Now LeBron's going 50 more than 50. I'll be like Magic Johnson. No, let me stop.
I think Curry might because, like I said, it is scary because you haven't seen either team play to their full potential.
I got a weird one. I said Steph will score 42 tonight. He's going to be the highest score. I think LeBron got like 38.
Okay.
I got Steph 42.
I go with LeBron tonight, points or whatever. Like I think the key to the game, like I said, I think Draymond Green and Harrison Barnes, if they are hitting their shots or whatever, Cleveland's going to have to change their defense up a little more. So I think Steph will score high 20s, low 30s, but I think LeBron is going to have to score a lot.
The problem with that Harrison Barnes thing is you're asking a North Carolina player other than Michael Jordan to score points in a big game. It's just not. Just don't worry about that stuff. Shots fired.
Harrison, shots fired. Yeah, those were shots fired.
No shots fired. Yeah. I went to Burger King and got me a piece of burger, and you see that cocky fishtail. They laying off your Eagles hat. Oh my gosh, yo. I gotta pull that off. Before we had 6 months.
I've seen it enough, man.
I've seen that. I was like, dang. I know LA was like, man, yo,
just blur the hat out. Do something.
Yeah. Like, tell Roger Goodell about this. Actually, and y'all actually answered the question, the last 2 questions. We'll do it again. The Warriors win if
they can't fall behind too far. They can't be down more than 10 points this game. It's just to see them try to crawl out of that hole each game. Like game 3, they were down 20 points. I cut the game off. There was no way they were coming back. But for the TV ratings, they had to make sure that you don't want to see a blowout game in the finals. So
What happened last year then? They were like 4 blowouts.
Yeah, it was just bad.
I think Golden State's got to find a way to control the pace. Like Cleveland, very, very, very intelligent. Like they don't have the horses, they don't have the talent, so they're slowing the game down.
Yeah.
So Golden State, I think the best way Golden State can control the pace, make their shots early. If you get up on them by 14, 15 points, they're going to have to play faster because they're going to need more possessions to get back in the game.
Plus,
So
you got players like what Dellavedova was hospitalized after the game for dehydration and fatigue.
Yeah.
Shumpert's hurt his shoulders now.
and LeBron's got to be gassed, man. He's
Yeah.
been playing a lot of time or whatever.
He's averaging, 45 minutes a game? So,
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have to find a way to control the pace.
Okay. Yeah. Last question on the docket. So who you got winning game 4 and score?
Golden State 113 to 108.
You.
So,
Okay.
I'm torn on this. Give me Golden State 100, Cleveland 90.
And give me a Golden State. Give me I do 115 to 97.
Golden
For
State?
the blowout?
Golden State, yeah, I got Golden State.
For a
Yeah.
blowout. Wow.
Yeah, they got to come alive. Cause I don't know, what's 15 minus 13? Yeah, what a 7. So, tell them where they can reach you at, LA. Instagram wise.
Instagram, Showtime804. I'm on Twitter, Showtime_804.
Okay. Want to give out? They want to divulge your social media?
I have no Instagram and I have no Twitter.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And I'm not giving you my email, so.
Not email. We don't want your email.
Yeah.
We just want. Okay, that's cool. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter under couch_coach. Also, you can do follow the Instagram page of Couch Coach Live at Couch Coach Live. Also, as we said, that we are also going to have a we're going to change for the summer. We're going to do Tuesdays starting next week, which is going to be on June the 16th. Actually, we'll be here for game 6 of the NBA Finals. So that's going to be very interesting. It'll be funny
If there's a game 6.
Yeah, if there is.
I'm hoping there's a game 6. I'm hoping there's a game 6.
I hope so too, because I do not want to come here Tuesday and be like the Cleveland Cavaliers have won a championship. Cleveland is gonna burn down. Like that is gonna be the most craziest scene of all time. Like, so as we I like the little Harrison Barnes dig that we did. So we got like a minute left to go in the show. We're gonna let Pizza Burger and Mississippi Police.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Hey, man, you did it to yourself, man. Pause. We'll do a little analyzing.
Okay, well, I witnessed here what I seen was a horrible, tragic situation.
This guy got a Philadelphia Eagles hat on.
The light was coming down, and I guess the police was trying to do a stop point. The man said, no, not today, and they began to race behind each other like cats and dogs. The police officer got behind the man and started going so fast his car spit out of control. Girl, he hit the pole, his head went to one side, and his body went to the other side, and this is the result. Lord be with this young man, he need a blessing. And I just stopped right in the middle because my hunger just went away. Because when I seen the accident, girl, I just began to be numb. And I had to just understand that somebody was experiencing this difficulty, a moment that was just not. And ma'am, I just cannot bear to continue to talk because it's just so. What you saw, did the police? Well, what I seen was that the police officer was merging towards the front, and the car gunned a little right, and then the police officer kind of submerged, and both of them interacted, and it was a full twist about, and the police car just twisted around like a tornado, girl, and the car just shook up, and the man just got injured, and now the result is this police officer don't know if his life is going to continue to make it, or he going to just tap out.
All right. Hey, guys, we'll see you on Tuesday. Thanks for listening to Couch Coach Live.
The police
No more North Carolina jokes. once I got it.
It's all good. Oh my god, yo, that was so funny, yo. Alright, let me see if this thing gonna work. Alright.